Yo, it's Chris Brown, Trey Songz, Kanye West.
Your home for hip-hop and R&B.
We the best!
Power 104.7, where old school meets new school.
Like it or not, y'all. You 8 p.m. Friday, you know how we do. Let's go. It's time for Like It or Not. With Rebecca Azure. Let's start this thing. With Rebecca Azure. Let's start this damn show.
Like It or Not starts now.
Okay, there we go. I was trying to see what it was looking like over there. Good morning, everybody. Oh, well, no. Happy Saturday. I'm trying to get that right. I know that we're on the radio. So for our listening audience, happy Saturday. And to everybody who's watching, sorry, David, but good morning, everybody. Listen, it's just me today. Granted, it is my show. My camera's a little lopsided, but I can't touch it no more because my tripod is giving up. So you guys are just going to have to deal with it. But good morning, everybody. Bubba and Ben are not here today, but that's all right because I am. And this is Like It or Not with Rebecca Azor. So we're going to rock it out the best way we can. What's great is that we're not going to, look how Ben would say, I won't be before you long. Okay, today I won't be before you long, but I am here with my great producer who's going to hold it down with me. There might be a little bit of, it might be a little wacky with the ways I'm going to turn on today's episode, but we're here. Usually in the mornings, I always start off with a little bit of a check-in. So I'll just give you a check-in of my own. My mental, all right, had a long work week, trying to balance it out. I am a bit tired. I'm really tired. I just want to sleep, honestly. I feel like I have the weekends are going pretty quickly. And I was sitting down yesterday evening and I was like, dang, this is what I do on my Friday nights. It's just me logging out of work, taking a shower, and going to bed. And then, of course, I love being before you guys. I love being with you guys on Saturday mornings. But sometimes I just would not, but sometimes I just would like a moment to myself during the week. Saturday mornings aren't an issue. Doing this isn't the issue. It's just sometimes I feel like this, like time is just going so fast. I know I've discussed this multiple times on the show, but it also gives me a reminder to slow down too. Like sometimes it's okay to just be in the house. It's okay to just kind of process things. It's okay to just kind of just feel, right? You don't have to be in the moment all the time. You don't have to be a part of everything all the time. And I think living in Atlanta, you get that feel to always be a part of something or to be in it, and you may be just missing out on something. Especially with my development of societal anxiety, I can't really be around all people all the time. However, I do like going out to eat. I do like taking walks. I do like, as you guys know, going on hikes. I'm always at the mountain. I do like working out every morning. I love those things. And they do give me a time to reflect. Sometimes I just sit on the balcony, and I was just thinking, dang, I remember buying a poster board to go ahead and start my vision board for the year. That felt like just yesterday. I was on the phone with my best friend, and I wanted that. I wanted to go get a poster board and some magazines, and it's hard to find magazines these days, guys. I know everything is digital, but I love to, I don't know, doing the vision board and going through magazines and like putting it together. I don't know. There's like a hands-on thing that feels really good, but digital ain't my thing when it comes to that. But I just remember that feeling like yesterday. There were a lot of things on my vision board that I created that I did that did happen this year. This year was a lot. I wouldn't say it was just like painful, but it was just a lot of stretching. I feel like a lot of stretching, but I think moments also of where I was able to just sit and come to realization about things about myself, and about things, that were actually happening. If you remember this time for yourself a year ago or even 5 years ago, you're probably sitting in a prayer that you made, or a wish that you made maybe 5 years ago. So, like, just think about that. So, right now in this moment, if you're feeling a little tough, if you're feeling like time is passing by, just think about the things that you prayed for years ago, and maybe where you're at now, and what's some of the things that you prayed for or believed for happened. So slow down a little bit if you need to. The world is wacky. It's crazy. So if you need to slow down and just kind of just think and be in your, hold on. Melinda, just close the door, girl. Damn. Sorry, y'all. My sister's over here making all this noise. I'm just like trying to be positive to y'all. Just close it. Anyways, we are at the beginning of the show, you guys, and that was my rant. If you're here with me, make sure you share this right now. Like it or not with Rebecca Azor. Like, share, comment, send to your grandmama, send to your friends, send to the in-betweens, everybody. Just share it, all right? I'm not monetized on YouTube, but that's okay. You sharing it, you commenting, you engaging in my content definitely helps. So, as well as the BPD show, we are on Rebecca Azor's channel. So, you guys can definitely check it out over there as well. Now, let's get to some news. Also, patreon.com/, like it or not. Patreon.com/, like it or not. Let's get to some news though. There is a lot happening. And I'm only going to choose what I feel like talking about because it's my show and it's just me here. So, anyways, there's a lot going on, and I'm just going to mix it around. We might be out of order, but it's okay. Now, I know a lot of you have heard as quick as it came, as quick as it went, but it's still developing. Music mogul P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Puffy, Puff, and most recently, Brother Love. Music mogul P. Diddy, right? Cassie, his ex, Cassandra Ventura, filed a lawsuit, $30 million, accusing and this happened, this was yesterday, was Friday. So this happened Thursday, right? Thursday evening, this news came out. And Cassie accused Sean Diddy Combs of rape, one thing, and also abuse, sexual abuse, domestic violence in their relationship. So in the suit, as I said, because we discussed it on Thursday night on Leftist Mafia, but just a rundown, just in the suit, okay? It was filed in federal district court in Manhattan. Cassie, she said that not long after she met Diddy in 2005, when she was 19, he began a pattern of control and abuse that included plying her with drugs, and this is per the suit, plying her with drugs, beating her and forcing her to have sex with a succession of male prostitutes while he filmed the encounters. In 2018, the suit says near the end of their relationship, Mr. Combe forced his way into her home and raped her. There's more details because a lot of people, what I've seen on Thursday was a lot of people coming out and saying, and these are like people who wanted to come for Cassie. We see that a lot. A lot of people want to say that this didn't happen, what we call victim blaming. Why did she stay? Why did she do any of this? We see a lot of that happen. And again, this was people who were just going off of the headline that they saw. Cassie files a $30 million lawsuit against P. Diddy. If you were smart, you would go in and you would read the details. Okay, you would read the details. You would see what was within that lawsuit. Well, and also women and men who are domestic. Let me just preface it with this: domestic violence, domestic abuse is never okay, whether it's at the hands of a woman or the hands of a man or anyone. It's never okay. In relationships, it can be tough for people to come out, but specifically when it comes to women, it's a large amount, it's a larger number, right? And this is statistically, right? Statistics show that it impacts women more, and women aren't reporting it as much. And I think it's because, and here's my theory with that. In recent years, it's gone down about the amount of women who are reporting it or people who are reporting it. I think half of the people who are in domestic violence relationships statistically are reported. And here's why I think that is, because especially now, I feel like online, a lot of domestic violence conversations and toxic relationships are more praised out loud. And you'll hear people say, he loves me, but, we'll see things that are extreme happen online, and we'll see people either go back, which is not a bad thing. Some people may change, right? But a lot of times in domestic violence situations, that isn't the case. I remember seeing an interview with Ellen and Diddy. Ellen was telling him, she was saying to Diddy, hey, when you took Chris into your home, and we're talking about Chris Brown and the situation with him and Rihanna, when you took Chris into your home, you know, uh, why did you do that? She said she was saying to him, he was like, oh, it's my business, and I step in, and they wanted my home, and I was trying to do a good thing. And Ellen said, I believe that you were trying to do a good thing, but I also don't want young girls to think that it's okay for you to be abused by somebody and just go back. And that was a conversation that I seen. And again, I do believe people do change, but that is something that we've seen patterns of. I've seen so many different videos ever since this lawsuit dropped. Another key thing in the lawsuit was that Diddy's team had initially said that she wanted the money so that she can write a book. And she was offered 8 figures to be quiet. She didn't take that money. So for people who are saying, oh, it was just for the money, she was offered 8 figures. And I think for 10 years of your life, even if you're looking for some money, 8 figures and you ain't take it and you still had more to say, okay. Here's the thing. Immediately, this was dropped on Thursday. The next day, I think yesterday evening, Cassie, quietly, I guess, out loud, Cassie went and settled with Diddy. Between Thursday and then we have Friday. Between that time, so many people were speaking up who were in Diddy's circle in some way, shape, or form. There are videos that may be things that were made up or whatever, but there are videos of him in it, conversations, people that were talking, people that have worked alongside him who have accounts of different situations, and everybody can't be lying. So there's video and there's footage of conversations people had with him or people who have worked near him who have said this behavior isn't surprising, who have said they witnessed it. And I think one thing about it, in between that time, so many people were speaking up. But I said this: when you're a very powerful person like Sean Combs is, when you are a very powerful person like that, you can make things disappear. And I think Olay said it best. And I want you guys to take a look or take a listen to what Olay said. And there was some cursing in here, but it's blocked. So if you have children, just, viewer discretion is advised. But let's take a listen to Olay. And if you guys know, Olay is a woman of the law. She's an attorney. She's a lawyer. And she knows this stuff about when it comes to law. So I want you guys to take a listen as to what she said while, it's funny in some ways, but it's very serious. So for those who are out here trying to victim blame, let's take a listen.
First of all, if anybody gets sued and they settle the case the next fucking day, they did that shit, okay? They did that shit. Whatever they say they do, they did that shit. More importantly, if Sean P. Diddy, I don't pay no fucking body Combs, settles it, oh, he did that shit. Mr. I take everybody's publishing. Mr. I wouldn't dream of giving no royalties. Mr. This is a nigga who makes pay to get out of his day contracts. Are you serious? No. Diddy settled that and paid that immediately. Do you know the amount of artists have sued this, have taken up arms against this, and he wouldn't pay them, but he did that and then some, and he wouldn't dare let it get to a court.
Now, I'll say this. I agree with Olay, for sure. I agree with Olay. And here's my thing about it, though. Like, if you really look at it, Diddy is untouchable in some ways. We have the band, Fatty Cool, a lot of these people who tried to come against him, and nothing ever happened of it. Fought for their publishing rights, nothing ever happened of it. Mace had stories, nothing ever came of it. Like all of these things. And I said this, and this is how I feel about it. Okay. This is my feelings, my opinions, that of my own. Okay. Of Rebecca Azor. And that is, Diddy wants to, I think he has this God complex. He's untouchable. He can take years from people like Cassie, 10 years. And he can do so and then come out and go to the Black community, the one that will take him in. And I'm talking about the Black church, because all of a sudden, the highest known right now preacher, one of the most respected, that being T.D. Jakes, is now in some way co-signing. Not now. I ain't talking about right after what happened, but I'm co-signing and protecting Diddy in some ways. It becomes his pastor, becomes his leader, which is fine. But it threw me for a loop. But I also think it's part of Diddy's plan, right? You know you've been wrong. You want to change your life in a quickness, but you've done people so wrong. You've done people so wrong. And you'll go to the place where, they'll be very forgiving. And the same person who's telling us, I went from watching, and I love TD Jakes. I love Sarah Jakes. I love watching their sermons. I will listen to them through the week to keep my head on straight. But the same person, like, I'll watch on a Sunday, tell me, hey, sometimes you can't listen to certain people or be in certain places because of what they do, what they're affiliated with. If you're trying to walk a certain way. And the next day, I see that same person sitting at a party where all types of music is being played, where there's booty everywhere, drinks flowing. Like, it didn't make sense to me. But that's the type of power I feel like Diddy has. And then to change his name to Love. I believe that, biblically, you hear God is love. That's in the Bible. And that is, they say to be like Christ, but you can't be Christ. And I think that Diddy walks with the God complex. And it's problematic when you feel like you can't be touched. And I think because the lawsuit was settled so quickly, people are looking to victim blame and looking straight at Cassie, instead of looking at, wow, this man who doesn't play will take other people to court because they trying to leave his label, will make them pay, will make them feel small, immediately settled. And if you look at the original lawsuit, which was a civil suit, if you look at it, you will see the details, which were very gruesome. One of the details, including when she briefly dated Kid Cudi, this is all in the lawsuit, you guys. When she briefly dated Kid Cudi, he threatened to blow up his car. And one day, Kid Cudi's looking out the window and his car blows up. Now, that could have been an allegation, yet Kid Cudi went out there and said, this is true. It happened. It happened. So when we think about somebody who can be very dangerous, potentially very dangerous, as Cassie alleges, he wouldn't settle like that. But there is so much information that she has from being with him for 10 years. And he didn't want none of that coming out. And so he settled. Okay? So I don't think that he thought that she would have the balls to do so or the vagina to do so. And she did. There's a video circulating from years ago of her now partner, Alex Fine, her husband, Alex Fine, going on a marathon run where it was for domestic abuse, to house domestic violence, people who have been abused. And I think when he made it to the end, there's a video showing him hugging her. And the hug was like, you can see that there was something relatable there. And it was long. And I'm like, listen, there is a story there to tell, and we may not ever hear it, and that's okay. But I also think, just like with the Keke Palmer situation, these are stories from celebrities, and you can't imagine how many women who have gone through things and couldn't tell their stories. We watched what happened when Meg Thee Stallion told her story. She went from singing "I'm a Savage" to "We Hardly Seen Her." Beyonce remixed this girl's song. That song was the biggest thing on TikTok, actually helping a lot of us through the pandemic during the beginning, push through. Y'all remember, we were in there, "I'm a Savage," everything. Meg Thee Stallion was at the height of her career. And she spoke out about an incident. And the thing is, it is proven that she was shot in the foot by Tory Lanez. And everybody said, but she was the problem. Right? Remember that? We see Keke Palmer speak out, and people said, but she is a mother. Meanwhile, nobody knew for over 2 years, her partner, who she was protecting, right? Her child's father, who she was protecting, was abusing her physically. Okay? And now Cassie, who we never hear from, a mother of two, a wife, we never hear from her, has spoken up, and people say she's lying. And I think this is part of why women don't speak up anyway. Because as soon as they say, hey, this happened to me, well, what were you wearing? Why did you stay? If this was happening, why didn't you tell anybody? If this is true, why would you try to sue for money? Imagine 10 years of your life being taken from you in some way, shape, or form at 19 years old. You begin a relationship with somebody at 19 years old. 10 years. Him just going to jail. I don't know. So for 10 years of suffering, I'm coming for everything that I deserve. Because me and mine are going to be all right for this lifetime of mental health and stress, maybe triggers, whatever. What I see too is a pattern of Diddy with young women, and I think that should be studied as well. Even speaking about it is crazy. I think a lot of people who are choosing to speak about this are afraid. When people are in power, like Diddy is, who has a network like Revolt, where a lot of people want to go work for and be around. When we see these people in power, people are afraid to speak up about it. People are really afraid. Diddy brought back, if you remember, Danity Kane online. This incident brought back Danity Kane together in some strange way. It's 11/11. In some strange way, they all got together. D Woods, who we haven't heard, who has not for years gotten on social media and told us a thing. D Woods from Danity Kane. Don Richards, Aubrey O'Day. They've taken to their social media accounts to talk, to just say, hey, Cassie, we know and we hear you and we send you love. These are people that worked closely with Diddy. Even, I forget his name. I think he's from Day 26. Said that he didn't sign no NDA. That he was they were trying to force him to sign. So everybody can't be lying. And I'll say that. And for the people that I really respected that got on social media, and there was one person that got on social media, and I'll keep him nameless, who I really respected, who got on social media and said, for all those women who sat on their soapboxes and typed away on social media about Cassie and how domestic violence is wrong, which I got to say now that she settled. Victim blaming. I've been a witness to domestic violence a lot of my entire life. I've experienced it. There are so many different aspects of it. So men to sit there and think that because a woman said, this is what happened to me, she got to be lying. I think that's very problematic. I think that's very troublesome. I think that's where we're not seeing it. Why can't we look at it and question why Diddy settled so quickly? If he didn't do it, why would he settle? Because what she stated in that original lawsuit was very damaging, was very extreme. So if he didn't do it, why would he settle? All right, y'all, I can go for days with this. To anybody who's ever experienced any domestic violence, anything, hey, listen, don't be afraid to speak up. But also, if you are afraid to speak up, there's a hotline, right? 737-225-3150, National Domestic Violence Hotline, 737-225-3150. If you can't speak to your family, if you can't speak to your friends, if you can't speak to your loved ones, if you aren't a celebrity like Cassie, if you aren't any of that, that's all right. You need to talk to somebody. You feel afraid. You feel like you're in a place you can't do anything. You're helpless. People don't believe you when you spoke about it the first time. That's okay. That's okay. You can contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Again, that number is 737-225-3150. You can jump in my DMs. We can have a conversation. Whatever you need to do. Listen, whether you're a man or a woman, domestic violence is never okay. Okay? Now, we're going to take a break. I'll be right back after these messages. If you are watching, make sure you share. Okay? You share, you like, you comment, you subscribe. Okay? You guys, we need your support to keep this going, to keep these conversations going. And listen, without you, wouldn't be no me. All right? Here on Like It or Not. We're about to take a break. We have more up after this.
Make sure that you stay tuned. More Like It or Not is coming up next. But before we get to this next break, what do you call a French guy being mauled by a lion? What do you call a French guy being mauled by a lion? Claude. More Like It or Not coming up next, y'all. Stay tuned.
Where the rhythm meets power.
That's a hit. That's a hit. Listen, because we're going to get to Andre 3000, 3 stacks. We're going to get to Mr. Flute. Okay? We'll get to him before we end. I promise you on today. Now, I know, because I really want to get into Andre 3000. The only thing I'm going to say right now before we get to him is that I love him. Mean it. So much music has come out. So much music news has come out, specifically Andre 3000 with the flute. Now, I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it. But we're going to talk about it before we end today. It's going to be a conversation. Snoop Dogg said he quit smoking. This was said. He said it on social media. This week drained me. So much damn news. But welcome back, everybody, to Like It or Not with your host, Rebecca Azor. My other double Bs are not here. Bubba and Ben, they have taken the day off, but that's all right because you're here with Becca. It is Like It or Not with Rebecca Azor. Why not? Let's chill. Let's have a good time. If you guys have not, please like, share, subscribe. Let's push this to everybody that we can because we already know, listen, word of mouth, it definitely helps. Monetization is great, but I love that you guys are watching. That's very helpful. It's great support. Also, if you haven't, please, patreon.com/like it or not, patreon.com/like it or not. And I also wanted to shout out Chris, my friend Chris. Hey, stay strong, buddy. I know that you just experienced the house fire here in Atlanta locally. There was some bozos who decided to light up fireworks on the top of a roof in Atlanta, and the whole building burned down, in the apartment building. And my friend Chris was a part of that. I want to go ahead and I'll send you the link a little before we end the show. David, remind me, please. If anybody wants to donate, he is out of a home. And that will be great. His name is Chris, and I love him, mean it. So before we end today, if you guys can support and donate to him, that will be great. But patreon.com/like it or not to support the show as well. Next up on our docket for today, the Israel March. There was a march for Israel, I believe, that was underway on Tuesday in Washington, D.C. Thousands of people, you guys, thousands of people took to the streets in Washington, D.C. Supporters of Israel, they rallied on the National Mall under heavy, heavy security. And this was on Tuesday, voicing for solidarity in the fight against Hamas and crying never again. Calling it the March for Israel, it offered what they say a resounding and bipartisan endorsement of one of America's closest allies, as criticism has intensified over Israel's offensive in Gaza. Okay. And this was, of course, due to Hamas and hostages. So what we see here is a lot of people that joined together, of course. And we had speakers there as well. One speaker, interestingly enough, is Van Jones. Now, before we get there, hey, here we condemn Hamas. I don't know how many times we got to say that. We condemn Hamas because I know when we start speaking anything of Israel, a lot of people get it twisted and call it anti-Semitic. And that no, here we condemn Hamas. And with that being said, we still call for a ceasefire. Release the hostages. Stop killing the people in Gaza. Stop putting the people of Israel under attack as well. Ceasefire. Ceasefire. Now, what's interesting is because I'm always going to go for the black person in the new. Listen, we black over here, so we always going to ask the black person, "What is you doing, baby?" One of the speakers there was Van Jones, and I want you guys to take a listen. I'm not mad that people are marching, saying, okay, Israel, like, we condemn Hamas. Hamas needs to release the hostages. I ain't mad at that. But also, we can all call a thing here. The war shouldn't be going on. The war shouldn't be going on. Ceasefire. Let's figure something else out. Because we are literally obliterating and genocide is happening in Gaza. We can have that conversation too. But Van Jones, he's always in something. It'd be Van Jones each time, right? It really do. But let's take a listen to his comments at the Israel March. Let's take a listen.
I pray for peace. No more rockets from Gaza, and no more bombs falling down on the people of Gaza. God protect the children. God protect children. Let's end all the horror and all the heartbreak in the Holy Land. Let's end all of it. Let's end all of it. But I'll be honest in closing. When I think about what's happening over there, I don't feel powerful to do something about what's happening over there. What I do feel powerful is to maybe do something about what's happening here. Let's take a stand here against anti-Jewish bigotry. Let's take a stand against Muslim. Let's take a stand here against hatred. Let's take a stand here against hatred of all kinds. I don't want.
I'm embarrassed. It got crazier and crazier. It almost felt like a Trump rally, right? I don't know. The energy was crazy. Now, I know maybe he misspoke and said, let's take a stance against Muslims, because let me tell you, that's what he said. And because let me tell you, the energy that was happening, that was building amongst in this march for Israel, the energy that was building, what was being said and screamed out was no ceasefire. In that video, no ceasefire. So that means continue the genocide in Gaza, right? Is that what we're saying? Continue the genocide in Gaza. So he took to Twitter, I guess, to clarify and said, my speech read, let's stand against anti-Jewish bigotry here. Let's stand against anti-Muslim bigotry here. Let's stand against hate here, as the people chanted no ceasefire. And he said, but the chanting crowd threw me off. Exactly what I was saying, and said, I misspoke. We need to stand with Muslims and Jews and everyone who is under threat. To have a march for Israel and then say we need to stand with Muslims and Jews and everyone who is under threat. Why couldn't that march be for Gaza and Israel? It was a march for Israel. Let's have this conversation. Israel is a big country, right? You know, they got big influence, big power. They shouldn't have the issue with Hamas. They shouldn't have terrorists coming in and taking hostages and threatening to kill. That shouldn't be a thing. It shouldn't be a thing. Let's make that clear. Now, Gaza is where they are, small. They were placed there because they were ousted. So, Palestinians in Gaza. Everything in Gaza, they have control of. They, being Israel, has control for the Palestinian people, the water, where they go, how they go, what they eat. The Palestinian people try to, and that's because, you know why they're placed there? Because of what they believe. Right? So the reason why we've seen a lot of marches for Palestinian people and marches for Gaza and marches to ceasefire and people taking a stance against bombing Gaza, because literally they're committing genocide in a small country, predominantly children. People are dying every day. So when we have that march for the Palestinian people and for Gaza and shouting ceasefire, it makes sense. But this is that thing that I think we should really pay attention to. When Black people say Black Lives Matter, what happened? We're saying Black Lives Matter because in this country, it feels like it doesn't. Not that it feels like it doesn't. Laws tell you it don't. Nothing is just for Black people here. Living wise, right? Medically, we're the underdogs every single time. Historically, places that we tried to create on our own were bombed. They're saying that Tulsa, Oklahoma, the bombing happened. Let's get over it. the people that experienced it, who are dying. Because it's been, so long? People that experienced it have yet to get any reparations. Right? But white people, when we say those things that Black Lives Matter, white people will come around and be like, no, but what about us? We're experiencing, there are things that we experience too. Y'all, let's look at the numbers though. Let's make it make sense. Same thing, what I'm looking at. Why would y'all go out by the thousands and go march with heavy security to protect y'all? And while people are out there fighting for Palestinians and for Gaza and saying ceasefire, which makes sense for Israel too, right? Y'all want to come out and say protect the people of Israel. Israel has the bombs. Israel has the heavy weapons. Israel has the protection. Gaza does not. What are we missing here? What are we missing here? So when I see that, I'm like, okay, all thousands of people are coming out. There's a video that they played on Leftist Mafia where at this march in DC, a woman who was Jewish said Jews for Palestine on a sign. And in that video, you see some people, and it wasn't all the people that were marching, but it was some of the people who were marching for Israel stop and look at her and tell her, why doesn't she go to Gaza and go get raped by Hamas? And why doesn't she go do this? And why does she? And she was saying, well, I'm a Jewish person, and why can't I just stand here and just say, I'm for the protection and a ceasefire, the protection of Palestinian people too? Why can't I do that? And she was chewed out by a few of the people that were marching. What I've seen in the Palestinian marches or the marches for Palestine, people getting beat up for saying ceasefire. People getting cursed out for saying ceasefire. The heavy protections that were allowed to the people to march in DC, in an area where we know has been used for a lot of special speeches. I feel like the March for Israel was more dividing. When you're calling for a ceasefire that protects everyone, makes more sense. 4-hour pauses so that somebody can take a break, think about if they're going to die in the next 4 hours is crazy. The people of Israel don't have to worry about that. So that's my spiel on that. Van Jones, I don't know ever if sometimes I don't know. I don't ever know. I just don't know every single time. I just never know with Van Jones. I never know. But I do know that you had some clips, David, of John Hagee from the DC March. If you wanted to go ahead and roll those, let's take a listen.
More about the Christian Zionist pastor John Hagee, who once said God had, quote, sent Hitler to help Jews reach the promised land. This is part of what he said at Tuesday's march in Washington.
Israel is the shining city on the hill. Israel says, God says of Israel, Israel is my firstborn son. Jerusalem is the city of God. Jerusalem is the shoreline of eternity. Jerusalem is the eternal capital of Israel today and forever.
Yeah. So when I hear those, a lot of people, okay, as a Christian myself, I'm not a Bible scholar. I'm none of the above. So if I were to speak to a Bible scholar, this is some of the information that they would try to provide to me. Not with the Hitler portion, but this is some of the information that they would try to provide to me. For me, I do not believe that Jesus is out here saying genocide is okay. I just don't. Not the God that I serve. And because people believe that, people who are Jewish, people who are from Israel are the chosen people. No matter what they do that can be wrong, they will never be considered wrong. Everything they do has to have a reason because allegedly, biblically, they are the chosen people. And people like John Hagee, the televangelist, who have taken to their pulpit to spew out anti-Semitic things at times, racist things against Black people, far-right talking points. A lot of these televangelists that we've loved so long have taken to their pulpits to say that stuff. So if they have done that to cause division in more ways than one and said that God allowed those things and God wants these things, would you believe that person as they speak in this manner at a rally? Van Jones spoke it. God chose this, huh? No. Sometimes it be your own people. Sometimes it be you. Sometimes the blood is on your hands. And Israel, and anybody who supports what Israel is doing, the blood is on your hands. No matter how you guys want us to flip it, turn it, and reverse it, what we see is what we see. What we know is what we know. And I know that I cannot stand for genocide. I won't stand for genocide in Haiti, in Congo, in Sudan, in Palestine, in Gaza. I will not stand for it. And I'm just one person doing a show. Did you see those thousands of people who are marching for Israel who believe that every person in Gaza is Hamas? Did you see that? And that every person who represents Israel is a chosen person? And that they get to walk on the street and speak to people how they want to? It's problematic. We got to start looking at the human side of things. We got to start looking at what's being done and calling a thing a thing. We got to start looking at the powers in place and how they are not using it for good. When we start focusing in on that, I think the conversations will change. But just like the world's been going around for how long before me, I don't know if I'll be able to see that change happen in my lifetime, but I would love to. There was somebody before me who didn't ever think that they would see me doing what I'm doing now. And maybe not in their lifetime and generations after, but because of them, here I am. So I would never be on the wrong side of history with this one. I stand with Gaza and the ceasefire. David, we're going to take another break. We'll be right back after this. I won't leave you like I came. I told y'all I would never leave y'all like that. We got something good for you guys before we get out of here. David, take us to another break. See you guys soon.
Saturday, everybody. Make sure that you stay tuned. We got more coming up next on Like It or Not with Rebecca Azor here on the Benjamin Dixon Show and Power 104.7.
You're locked into Power 104.7.
All right, and we are back. We're back. Welcome to Like It or Not. Listen, we're at the end of the show. If you're just tuning in, hey, rewind that thing back a little bit. It was a good show today, okay? Now, we talked about a couple of things. You don't want to miss it, but if you've been rolling with us, you know I said I wouldn't leave y'all the way you came. Now, Andre 3000, you guys know him as one half from the group, out of Atlanta, Outcast. Some people call it old school. Some people call them throwback. Some people call them historical. Some people call them goats. Outcast. Now, Andre 3000. Andre 3 stacks. Right? Love him. So fine. Now, put him on the screen, David. So fine. But he came out with a Flu album. He did. Andre 3000. I thought it was a joke when he said he was come earlier this week when it was revealed that Andre 3000 is coming out with the Flute album. Not Benjamin Dixon, but Andre 3000. Because I want you guys to, I want you to put, thank you. Andre 3000 is coming out with the Flute album, came out with the Flute album yesterday. And I actually listened to it. It's almost like ambient music. It's almost like the music people listen to. You know how when people listen to rain sounds and people listen like the thunder or waves. That's what I was getting from the flute playing. I thought it was a joke, y'all. I really did. But the facts are facts. The album is full flute. And they actually have titles. Each song has a title that you would think he's about to drop bars on. One of the songs has Beyonce titles names has Beyonce's name in it, where he had to call Beyonce, get the approval through Jay-Z. This is what he said. Now I want you guys to take a listen. I want you to play the clip of him actually stating that why he didn't drop a rap album like everybody's expecting, because he's on some people's rap Mount Rushmore. And so I want you guys to just take a listen as to why he said he ain't got no raps. Let's take a listen.
People think, oh man, he's just sitting on raps, or like he's just holding these raps hostage. Like, I ain't got no raps like that. Like it actually feels, sometimes it feels inauthentic for me to rap, because I don't have anything to talk about in that way. Like, I'm 48 years old, and not to say that age is a thing that dictates what you rap about, but in a way it does. And like the things that happen in my life, like what do you talk, like I gotta go get a colonoscopy, like what do you what do you rap about? You know what I mean? Like my eyesight is going bad. Like,
and he right. Now, that may not be every rapper's story, but right now this is where he is. He even said during an interview that he said he's been playing the flute for a while now, and he's actually dropped music. He actually dropped music. I'm going to change the battery. He actually dropped music under another name for major artists as well. So I want you guys to take a listen to the flute playing. Play the commercial that GQ dropped. This is not a joke. It's not a jeans commercial. It's not a commercial for games, but there's Tide on the side. This isn't a commercial. This is GQ and Andre 3 Stacks playing the flute, because that's what his album is. So anywho, how fine he is, and you can mute it here, but how fine he is something that did not go over my head, because I can be Andre 3000's flute. I can. He's so fine. He's still fine. That man just gets better with I type of text to a girl I used to see. Yes, that 3 Stacks, right? What we always playing, hey, yeah. This one. He talked about how when he played the song for one of his friends or colleagues, hey, yeah, that the friend said that his career will be over if he dropped the song. That's one of his biggest songs. So I will trust Andre 3000. Season 9, something beautiful about yourself. Have a nice little private party. Get you a drink of water, whatever your drug of choice may be. I don't know. Do something good for yourself today. Take yourself out to dinner, something. I don't know. But think about you. I'm about to head out with my sister, going apple picking. It's going to be a journey. That I never done that before, so that's going to be good. And so I'm looking forward to that. Listen, get over to patreon.com/like it or not. Patreon.com/like it or not. I did say, hold on, before we do get out of here, I did say I would share that link of my friend Chris. If you guys can, please reach out and assist and give me 1 second. I know. Here we go. I'm sending it to you right now, David. If you can just get that for me. Let's see here. And this is all happening in real time. Here we go. Just get that for me. His apartment was set on fire again by two bozos who decided to take to the top of the apartment and light up fireworks, and it set the whole place ablaze. He lost his place. He lost everything. So, and he's still in good spirits. He's a local Haitian singer here who still has been performing in the midst of all of this. So if you can, I dropped the link in text, David. If you guys can, David's going to post the GoFundMe. I'll post the GoFundMe link. Yep, there goes the GoFundMe right here. If you can, please, guys, hit him up, $1, $2, whatever you wanted to give me, go ahead and give to him. I don't care. Please do help him. But I'm at the end of the show, guys. I love you. Take care of yourself. Please do. I love you. Mean it. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Bye.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for another edition of Like It or Not with Rebecca Azora here on the Benjamin Dixon Show. If you have not already, please go share, like, subscribe, and all that other good stuff, man. And if you have not either, if you want to become a Patreon, patreon.com/like it or not, patreon.com/like it or not. You too can become a member, get all this exclusiveness, man, and also get some behind the scenes stuff too. You don't want to miss it. So make sure patreon.com/like it or not. Let's see, before we get out of here today, your affirmation for this beautiful Saturday is: the more I focus my mind upon the good, the more comes to my life. Again, the more I focus my mind upon the good, the more good comes to my life. Y'all go be blessed, man. Do something good for yourself and enjoy your day, man. It's the weekend, baby. Happy Saturday, y'all. We'll see y'all next week. Deuces.
This is the sound of the streets. This is the sound of the people. This is Power 104.